Okay, 5 minutes. Everybody knows the rules. Will AI take your job? I don't think so. Here's why. But before I say what my opinion is that almost nobody really cares about, I know this because my last three videos have like one view each. Also, I also feel like even though I have opinions that, I'm using this YouTube channel that nobody watches to express, my opinions don't actually really matter in the scope of things. I don't necessarily think I'm 100% right about anything. I don't care if I say what I think and I turn out to be wrong. It's fine. Um, I think that I wish I could, what I'm trying to encourage myself to do, that I wish I could encourage other people to do, is be okay with having a lot of opinions about whatever, expressing them, but also being okay if those opinions are contradicting, being okay if the majority of people don't agree with your opinion, and also being okay with the idea that maybe your opinion is wrong or could be proved to be wrong, or, you know, things don't turn out that way or whatever. I think it just doesn't matter. I think most of us are, taking ourselves too seriously, and that's why when we're out and about in the world and we express our opinions, it often turns into arguments and disagreements, and it turns into this kind of like battle about like who's more right. And personally, I think that's not the best way for us to be expressing ourselves to each other, which is, I think, one of the reasons why we have so many communication problems and so many interpersonal relationship problems in the world, because we're so it's so hard to just put things out there truthfully, honestly, without a need for a specific result, whether that result is like right, wrong, good, bad, proven or not proven, something like this. So, anyways, this is sort of just a practice for me to also do that because obviously it's easy. I can speak into a camera here, and there's nobody to argue with me or shut me down. I get that, but it's also then practice for when I do this out and about and express these views, which I do. And the opinion that I want to express now, AI is not going to actually take your job. Whenever I said this recently, there's a lot of like, because the primary message that we're receiving, at least I am these days through my social media and online, everywhere it seems, is that, AI is going to eliminate all the jobs, and I don't know. There's no like and then what? But I don't know. I've even seen criticism of people who criticize that, because there are other people that are like, I don't know about that. And then there's criticism. Those people like, well, they're just not like plugged in. They can't really see, and they're, like they're old fogies who are, stuck in an old way of doing things, and they just can't accept this new thing coming where nobody's gonna have jobs. And I just kind of, I don't I highly doubt that I'm going to be the only one who is increasingly like skeptical of this narrative that is just being like shoved into our eyes and into our brains, like trying to brainwash us. So, anyways, everybody knows that. Here's why I think AI is not going to take your job. AI is going to take the jobs of the people whose companies, businesses decide to use AI to do that job. That's what's going to happen. If a company doesn't value humans and they only value free or extremely cheap, and that's their primary objective for being in the world, they only value themselves, then they're going to do that. I mean, and if you're somebody who's an artist or designer or a musician, that kind of company, those kind of companies, those kind of businesses aren't going to hire you. But companies and businesses, clients, people who do value you as a person who has flaws and imperfections, but also has a lot of worth, a right to be here, and has a value in who you are, there's going to be opportunities for you. They're going to support you, which is already actually the case in the world today, right? I mean, there's lots of examples of this that I see. Um, you know, not all clothing is made in a sweatshop in China, right? I mean, if if you're a company like, I don't know what companies do this. If you're a company like, Uniqlo or something, and all you value is cheap labor, then you're going to have everything made as cheap as possible in, China or Bangladesh or, one of these places. But if you're a clothing brand like LA Apparel, which used to be American Apparel, who does value humans and does want to pay living wages, then you're going to choose to do that, which LA Apparel still does, right? They hire people in America to make their clothes and they pay them a really good wage, compared to what most people expect to pay. So, that job didn't go away. Yeah, okay. So most of the jobs, most of the companies are going to have a really hard time resisting leveraging AI. And right now, I think we're just in that phase where this idea, if I'm a business and suddenly there's idea that, everything that I currently have to pay a lot for, I can get for free and still earn the same amount, and that just becomes like more profit for myself. I mean, that's very appealing. I get it. Obviously, that's appealing. If I could earn the same amount of money and suddenly not have to pay rent, not have to pay bills, that sounds great. That would be very attractive. But if it's at the expense of people who I care about, people who I value, then maybe not. And, you know, I think that it's fine that, you know, maybe in the short term, we're going to see an explosive use of these tools. And yeah, a lot of people are going to struggle and there's going to be a sense of a loss of opportunity for many of us, especially people like me in the digital industry, in the creative industry, like, you know, all the memes now are funny to me about, like, why is it AI can just only do like make art and make music. AI seems to just only be doing the things that people want to do. It's not like doing the things we don't want to do, like mining coal, or, it's not even solving the real problems like cancer or whatever. It's just like, like making movies. Like, it's just kind of ridiculous. But I don't, again, I don't think that it's going to take all the jobs. Most candles are made in a factory now, okay? Most clothes are made in a factory in China. But if you're a clothing designer that wants to be a clothing designer and wants to be good at that, there's still an opportunity for you to do that now. And I mean, clothing manufacturing was moved offshore, moved to, sweatshops 20 years ago. But that's still an, I have a lot of friends in Taiwan who are clothing designers and doing that. And, you know, it's, it's probably not easy, but when was it ever easy? You know what I mean? Like, you know, 20 years ago or whatever, when I got into design, it wasn't any easier to get a job, to sell myself than it is now, actually. The the challenges have just changed. The requirements, the task, everything has just changed a lot. But it wasn't easy then for me to get a job. It was just different. And now it's going to be different again, and it'll continue to change and be different. It's always just going to keep being different. But that doesn't mean it's like it's actually completely changed fundamentally, I think. Um, so that's my 5 minutes. Don't worry about it. That's if you want to make candles and you love candles, then make candles. But know that in order to differentiate yourself, you need to become really good at making candles. If you want to make bread, oh my God, artisan bread, that's like low battery. 1 second. You know, a factory can make a perfect loaf of bread. You can get a bread machine and make a great loaf of bread and do literally nothing. I've had a bread machine. It's great. But I don't even like using the bread machine. I like making it by hand, mixing the dough, forming the dough, having a process. I mean, that's what you're going to see on Chef's Table. You're going to see a guy using a bread machine, and then you're just like, yeah, I make a bread machine. It comes out like perfect sourdough. Like, yay! No, nobody respects that. I mean, people will eat it. I'll eat bread from a bread machine and be like, it tastes great. It's perfect. Oh my God, it's just as good as the bread that somebody made with their hands. But in the end, Sunday morning, if I want a nice sourdough, I'm gonna go to the guy who's sourdough's become his craft, and he's putting himself and his love into his craft, and that's what I'm supporting as well. Like fucking bread machine, like so what? So yeah, you want to make bread, make bread. You want to make candles, make candles. You're a digital artist, and AI can make better art than you. Who cares? Still do the thing that you want to do and just become really good at it. Um, any of the things that AI can do really well, I mean, you can still do. You can still be a photographer. You can still be all these things. Like, there's still going to be opportunity for people to do the thing that they love to do, that is their craft, that they want to improve their skills on. I think that applies to everything: writing, making movies, making videos, like, and also I think there's gonna, like I said in my last video, there's gonna be a coming backlash. Like, I don't think that the AI industries see this coming as much as I think it's going to happen, where people are suddenly like, you know, the AI movie. Okay, I'm going a little beyond my 5 minutes, 15 minutes. The AI movie is going to come out at some point, and it's going to be like, you know, literally nothing was done by humans here. It was like all AI, the writing, the filming, the generating of the visuals and stuff, and people are going to go watch it, and then they're going to be like, oh my God, millions of people went to go see it, you know? And that'll be a headline, and it'll be good. You'll be like, wow, it's impressive, and that'll be it. And then people will be like, okay, cool, yay, you can make the perfect thing, without any human interaction. So what? I mean, I'd you're suddenly now, like, homemade movies with humans are going to be like way more valuable and way more appealing, though. That's the opposite's going to happen than what these people using AI think is going to happen, I think. But nobody comes to me for the answers, and nobody really cares. So it's fine. Anyways, that's my post. 5 minutes. Happy Sunday.